So, the original Sonic trilogy and Knuckles is hailed by many as the perfect 2D platforming trilogy. Better than classic Mario in every way. Classic Sonic is the pinnacle of gaming! And then, Sonic had a rough transition to 3D. Hello? YouTube? What's this? Another play button.
Yeah, you're officially a gaming YouTuber. You finally said the words.
Oh.
Took you long enough. What, like 6 years? 700 videos?
Almost.
All you have to do is mention the rough transition to 3D Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog franchise had, and then you get the seal of YouTube Gamer. It's not that hard. Everybody's done it.
Well, I feel like I might have said those words before.
Well, if you did, then this joke is ruined.
Yeah, it is.
Don't you miss the days before coronavirus when we were all just playing classic Sonic games in their glory days?
No, I happen to like where gaming has gone, for the most part. I also like chili dogs. Sonic eventually invented those.
Well, then you can memorialize and show off your love of Sonic with this beautiful figure from First Four Figures, today's beautiful sponsor.
Alright, seriously, this figure, it's beautiful. If you know me, you know I enjoy a good figure of my favorite characters and Elisa. Ugh, why did they do Elisa? Never mind, I answered my own question. But back to this one. This is the exclusive edition, which comes in this extra nice box. Oh my god. And it even lights up with its added stars. It looks great just about everywhere. By your game collection, on a shelf surrounded by fake plants, in a rotating studio light box, beside my overly excited face. Alright, maybe not that one. But if you'd like to check this out, and maybe even get it, if you use my link down in the description, you'll be directly supporting this very channel thanks to a sales commission. And now I'm going to feature this figure next to me for the remainder of the video, so that you can continue considering it. And perfect. There we go. Nice. Sonic games are bad?
Oh my god!
Well, no. Some are just very flawed. Many are just misunderstood. But the majority of them are really good. Except that one. And that one. And, no, but okay, there's, sure. And then, but the original trilogy and Knuckles is still really praised by non-memers, and they are really good, especially when you consider them coming out at the time that they did. But I mean, perfect? Are you crazy? Well, what it got right, it got really right. And as the games went on, they got better and better, perfecting the formula. So by the time we got to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it was beautiful. The games are often a textbook example of how to make 2D platformers awesome. It followed all of the rules, which includes the best rules for any video game to follow. Teach through experience and visual aid, not through tutorials and explaining things outright. In other words, rather than you starting the game and Amachow pops in and says, "Oh, hey Sonic, if you move the stick right, you can move to the right!" And when you reach your first obstacle, Amachow comes out again and says, "Whoa, Sonic, mother watch out, it's a thing! Better press the A button to jump over it!" No, instead you would pick up the controller and figure it all out for yourself with the brain you have because you were born before the smartphone era. And I mean, just about everything about these games are pretty straightforward. You get to the end of the level and your jump is also your attack. That's it. When you come across your first loop, you don't see Chow popping in telling you that you can run around it. No, you're already running so fast that by the time you realize you're going through a loop, you're already halfway through it. So there you go. You just taught yourself that Sonic can run through loops. The same applies to him running on water, among other things. The first few times you come across a new obstacle or enemy, it's in a relatively safer place, meaning you have time to see and learn what it does, rather than Amachow popping in and explaining everything to you. It's beautiful. More games need to do this. It's perfect. But like I said, this Sonic trilogy and Knuckles isn't perfect. But then again, no games were perfect until the second Katamari came out, and no game has been perfect since. Besides God Hand and Okami and Dark Souls 3 and Doom Eternal and Katana Zero and Nier Automata and Sonic 3 and Knuckles would for sure be on this list for me too, if not for but one single flaw.
Mario 3D All-Stars.
involving
Sunshine
this
wasn't in it.
barrel.
Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Oblivion.
A flaw I'm sure
Owlboy,
many
Celeste, almost
have
everything Sonic
experience
makes,
with.
And the remake of Zone of the Enders
2 and Explorers of Sky. And being a Pokemon YouTuber, you'd think I'd have more than one Pokemon game in this list, but no. So let's finally get into it. When playing through this game, by this point, you've gotten the basic controls down. Maybe even some of the more advanced stuff, like pressing the jump button while you're already in the air, while you have a shield to do some special double jump. You know, advanced stuff. Wave dashing has nothing on this. And maybe you were like me and you thought Knuckles was way cooler because he could fly and climb walls and was a girl. Yeah, that's right. As a kid, I thought Knuckles was a girl, and apparently so does Scott the Woz.
It's guarded by one Knuckles the Echidna, a red thing. I thought he was a girl as a kid.
That's stupid.
So now I don't have to feel so bad. So maybe you were like me and beat the game as Knuckles first before even touching Sonic because he was new and different and interesting. Get this blue sinner out of here. And the thing is, when playing as Knuckles, this barrel, as in this specific one, isn't an obstacle. Knuckles runs along a completely different path. So by this point, I had the controls basically mastered. I beat the game after all. And now it was time to beat it as Sonic. And then this barrel. What is it? Why is it? What even is it? What is so hard about it? Why is this barrel the bane of my existence? And the bane of many other kids who grew up with Sonic's banes of existence. I am not alone. But why? So here's what happens. Act 1 starts, and you are greeted very quickly by one of these barrels. It spins, slows you down, and bounces you if you land on it. At this point of playing, you see all this, and you log it into your memory. Barrel makes you spin. Spin makes you stop. Barrel also bounces. Later on, you're jumping across barrels and learn that landing on them after a jump makes them go down further, and you can even launch yourself with them by jumping off at the right time. So now log that into your memory. Then, while in the middle of running fast, you get locked into this room with a barrel on the floor. Naturally, you figure, oh, I guess I had better launch myself up high to continue with this level. So you start jumping up and down, launching yourself higher and higher, and this is hard enough already because you need to time your jumps so that you don't land back on the barrel as it's coming back up. Otherwise, you will stop all of its momentum, and you will have to start it up again. And what makes this even harder is Tails! Tails likes to follow you. Tails has weight, because he's a fat lard. And Tails always lags behind you a bit. So you could perfectly time your jump and landing, only to have Tails screw it all up. And after finally reaching the top, you find out, oh, that's a ceiling. I would know. I'm an expert of ceilings. I see them all the time. Even got a badge. And that's a nice ceiling. What do I even do? Well, back on the down trip, you may see it. The top of a power-up machine. And the barrel is close to being under this corner enough for you to jump off and get under there. You just have to get the barrel low enough by perfectly timing the jumps of both you and Tails for long enough to get the barrel down there. Oh, and you better hope that while spinning on the barrel, you happen to be on the right side of it. Because if you're on the left, or even the center, you won't be close enough to that opening to make it in time. As a kid, I tried this for hours and hours, losing all of my lives and continues on running out of time, multiple times. Because, I have nothing better to do. I'm a kid with dial-up. So as a 6-year-old kid, I, like many others, never beat the Sonic run of this game. All because of this! Rather, I just replayed and beat the Knuckles run again and again and again, as well as all of the zones prior to Carnival Zone as Sonic. Eventually I picked the game up again around age 16 for a nostalgic playthrough, and this time I did somehow manage to use this jumping method to get out and finally beat the rest of the Sonic run. I cheesed it. But it wasn't until just a few years ago, age 21 or so, oh, that was half a decade ago, that I learned the truth about the barrel. The way you are supposed to get past this part. Let me show you. It's pretty, intense. You just wiggle your thumb a bit to get past this part. But why? Why is that the case? This is so stupid. How was I supposed to know that? Sonic and Knuckles, more like moronic and suckles. I mean, thanks, Internet, for telling me nearly 2 decades too late. Not that I can really blame you, GameFAQs didn't really exist back then, and the internet was still in its infancy, and it would be a few years before my parents would even get dial-up internet. But seriously, up and down? Where else does this game use that? You press down to duck and then charge up spin dashes, and you press up to look up. Otherwise, these do nothing, except to control this barrel, apparently. Is that why the barrel was one of the first things you come across in this zone? So you can mess around with it and figure out that you can press up and down on it? Like, if that's the case, then that's nice. Nice of them to think about that and put it there. But here's the problem. Sonic is about going fast and reacting to things quickly. Everything else Sonic interacts with in the game is simple. Balloons make you bounce. Bubbles let you breathe underwater. Swings let you swing. Simple. The times this game does slow you down for more precise platforming, it's still obvious what you're supposed to do and where to go. Whenever these barrels were placed earlier in the level though, there was never a need to figure that out. The game gave you every incentive to just jump on and jump off of them to continue the level. You assume that the spinny, bouncy barrel just makes you spin and you can bounce off of it. Nothing more. The only other complex thing in the game is that top and Marble Garden Zone, which is as complex as the you run fast, it spins, you go, woo. Plus, with this top, the effect you see is visible. Sonic runs on it, so it spins. It's easy to see, so it's easy to understand. When you spin on the barrel, you just stand in place and spin around it. Even when you put in the up and down inputs, Sonic doesn't do anything. Normally he ducks or looks up, and now it's nothing. He's just standing there, spinning. Motionless. So since there's no immediate effect, it's easy to assume that while on the barrel, up and down don't do anything because you are controlling Sonic and Sonic doesn't do anything. So why would it make sense that while standing on a barrel, you're suddenly controlling the barrel? The answer, it doesn't. Even the manual doesn't say anything about this. This is an example of a moment when Amachow popping in would make sense. Oh, hey Sonic, if you press up and down, it controls the barrel you are standing on. And not all of the barrels even have this unique bouncing effect. In fact, most of them will still actually not do anything if you press up and down, so I really don't blame you for not figuring this out as a child. Thanks, Amachow. But didn't I say that games should be avoiding constant irritating tutorials? Yes, but there is a time and a place for everything, really. And honestly, this is just a moment where one of these would be an easy way to fix the problem. Maybe even just a sign Sonic can read when you're first by a barrel. There you go. But what would be even better is if the animators made it so Sonic did something. Like, come on! If pressing up and down on Sonic made him look like he's shifting his body weight to push down the barrel and then move with it, it would have been so much easier to figure this out. After trying a few things, you eventually try up and down, and since now there's a visual signifier early on that pressing up and down is doing something, you continue doing it, and eventually figure it out. But there's none of that. Jeez. Zega! That's quite the oversight. I suppose this may be an issue of not enough testing? The people testing the game may have been told about this, or were working on the game, so they knew about this control. So it never even crossed their minds that kids everywhere might not be able to figure this out, because it's not exactly the most obvious or intuitive thing. And that's another thing. The game's target demographic is kids. So when testing the game, you should have to think like a kid, which understandably can be challenging. But... so... This is definitely an issue of developer oversight, but my word, this is easily the worst stain on the otherwise gratitudinous of Sonic 3. And Knuckles. And possibly even the franchise as a whole. Because nothing else has tainted the series after all. At least nothing I can remember. Oh hey look, this statue is really cool. I bet there's a link down in the description for you to get one yourself. It helps support the channel. And it even... You probably saw, but I'm going to show you again now. It lights up and does doo-doo, that whole thing. It does the doo-doo little light. It's good. You can also just leave it solid, though, because that would probably get annoying after a while. But yeah, check it out. Thanks for watching. Me rant. And never stop using your noggin.